So, being that a white male tried to run me over on a bike yesterday as I was leaving the Galleria Mall, I said, let me go ahead and start this video off recording where I am and what's going on. I'm at the Starbucks location where I filed the murder report on Cynthia, where I met with the officer about the murder report about her killing my son. Melbourne Halo met her, and I'm not able to load up my videos. I have a couple of videos that's loading, and I gotta walk off of the property because they have they got all of the tables filled up, pretty much where I can charge my phone and have some privacy, and then it's filled up outside with people on the patio where I can't sit on the patio. So I'm about to walk off. My phone is on 17%, but I need to do this video for my child. Okay, so I'm leaving the property, and yesterday, excuse me, sir, I'm sorry. These videos would have been connected, these clips, would have been connected to the video where the white male tried to run me over as I was talking about the introduction to the mafia and the Ku Klux Klan. So I'm about to I'm walking over by the Container Store where there are no cars, where I can get privacy to myself, where they might try to drive past or walk up or whatever, but that's cool. I don't have to be in a situation where it's staged to have people around me to try to stop me from talking about it. So we're going to go into some clips about Donald Trump. The reason why I want to talk about Donald Trump is because he was the president when Cynthia Olvera took my little boy, saying that she was raping him with the KKK. This video is going to be to show you about the female organization in the KKK. So there are female KKK members, and this video is to teach you about that in order for people to understand how to go after Cynthia Olvera about my son, and why you need to go after Cynthia Olvera about my son, to unleash the dragon, to unmask the white appearance of privilege, to take a person's child and say, I have a pocketbook, I have a house, I have a car, she is black, she don't have anything, she did this or she did that. Whatever you want to say, this video is going to unmask the truth behind why she took my child and has been trying to keep my child from me in the name of Jesus. So I shot Cynthia's son, Austin Metter, my baby daddy, 10 weeks after he got out of prison for assault at Baytown Seafood Restaurant in Conroe, Texas, where he was attacking me with my child, 22-month-old Melbourne Metter, and he's mixed with my bloodline, African and Indian, and his father is Caucasian. So they arrested me from the scene after having evidence that I was protecting myself, 911 calls, a witness, and decided that they were going to falsify the arrest record and lie about the evidence, trying to set me up to be murdered, lying about 911 calls, the witness, and then said that they were raping my child. Donald Trump was in office. The shooting happened September 18, 2018. Cynthia Olvera was from Magnolia, Texas. She had been living in Magnolia, Texas with her husband, Joseph Olvera. And I met them in 2015, in like October or November 2015. It was November 2015 when I met her, when I started dating Austin, met her son. And Austin already had charges for drug possession and theft. I didn't know about these charges. Turns out he was on meth and heroin and crack. But I continued to date him, fell in love with him in February 2016 after he was released on an assault family violence charge for abusing me on a 2-year felony probation for assaulting a public servant while he was incarcerated for that. I got pregnant with Melbourne Metter, and we were staying at 230 Avenue G in Conroe, Texas. And Austin continued to do things like rape me and hit me, stalk me, and he was violated for the probation and spent 100 days in jail. I was forced to move to a location, a 2-bedroom, 1308 Houston Street, apartment 3. And I was 6 months pregnant when he got out of the county for a probation violation in July 2016. And he was abusing me. I have KKK members following me right now as I'm doing the video, and he needs to get out of my face right now. Get out of my face. He put me in the hospital for basically messing up my baby bump, like, grabbing me around my stomach while abusing me, and it was causing my baby to move slow, like I didn't know if he was alive, and I had to be monitored in Conroe Regional Hospital and the Woodlands Hospital several times. So he went back to jail, but this time he went to prison, and it was for assault. It was for the probation violation, and I had called the police about 4 or 5 weeks after my son was born. Austin had been doing things like throwing objects, bottles of shampoo, full bottles at my newborn, trying to attack me and fall over on him, punching me in my breast. He was destroying the property. He was just doing a lot of things that I felt I didn't want around a newborn. So I called the police from a location in a vehicle that his parents had given me when I was 5 months pregnant while he was in the county on the probation violation. And I was waiting for the police to come, the Conroe police, asking them to meet me at my residence, telling them that he was ransacking my home. And he decided that he was going to act a fool when the police tried to get him to calm down, and they had to arrest him. So they arrested him from my apartment, 1308 Houston Street, in December 2016 when my son was about 4 or 5 weeks old. Another thing that he did was try to flip my baby out of the stroller inside of the Woodlands Mall when we went to take pictures before Christmas. And he was arrested, I believe it was December 20th, 2016, and he went to prison. He signed for 2 years, but they said they would give him back time for when he was in the county on the rape charge, for the rape probation violation, and for the assault family violence charge. So he spent 19 months in TDC. I raised my little boy, Melbourne Halo, met her inside of that apartment for the duration of Austin's prison sentence. I raised him by myself. Cynthia Olvera and Joseph Olvera was helping to pay the rent for me, and I would work off and on part-time and just keep that money for myself and my son. And I had a vehicle, and my son and I had a pretty good life. Austin was getting out of prison and he wanted to come to my apartment. I was just getting to the point where I was trying to get independent from him and his family. I didn't feel that it would be an idea to let him come back because he had a pretty bad track record from prison. Austin was fighting and drinking inside of the prison, and he was being violated for that. He also had warrants for the drug and theft charge that he had previously before he met me, where they wanted to pick him back up on those charges and asked me, could I call and try to get him time served, which I did. And then they asked me if it would be okay for him to come into my address. I told him only if there was no violence, if he was not hitting me or doing the things that he was doing previously before he went to prison. I brought my son to see him a couple times at the prison, and he was promising that he would not hit me again. To make a long story short, he began hitting me within the first week of him being released from prison. He was drinking the first night. He was telling me he could not wait to have sex, that he didn't want to talk, that he had to have it right then, snatching off my underwear and basically forcing me to do what he wanted. And he was getting drunk every night. He wanted to drink a bottle of clear all the way down and then drink a bottle of brown all the way down. When I was asking him to stop drinking, he was getting angry and started knocking over empty bottles of alcohol and stumbling in my son's room, causing commotion. I started calling the police. I called the Conroe police when he assaulted me and my son. He wanted to give drugs. I told Austin that I was pregnant by him again. And I said, Austin, we need to be good parents. A lot has changed since you've been in prison. I don't party. I never was much of a partier anyway, but I said I don't want it in the house around my children, and we need to change. I don't want any alcohol. He was the one that was drinking, but I was allowing him to do it, although I was trying to get him to do it at a normal amount, like a modest amount. I figured that I could not make a grown man stop drinking if he did not want to stop drinking, but that I could encourage him not to do it as much. I told Austin that I did not want any drugs in the house, that I didn't want any tobacco in the house, that I did not want any drinking or alcohol because I was pregnant, and that I felt that for the baby that I was carrying that we did not need to have it around. And he initially agreed to it, but then I fell asleep and he snuck into my purse and started to steal, and he wanted to get drugs, and I tried to stop him, and he started attacking me in my son's room. Once I saw that he was really willing to hurt me, I realized that I didn't want to try to protect myself. I was like, just let him take what he wants to take and go, because he's going to kill this baby that I'm carrying. That's the first thing that came to mind. And he took the money out of my purse, and then he took the car keys and he sped off. And before he did that, my son came into the room while he was assaulting me, and then my son tried to hit him. He started hitting him while he was hitting me. When I was saying that I didn't want to defend myself, my son started hitting him, and he was only 20, 21 months old. And he took my son's head and pushed him straight back and made him hit his head on the ground. And I started yelling at him, like, why did you do that? Why did you hit him? Like, you could tell that my son was not hurting him. The little hits that he was trying to do to protect me, even I could see that it wasn't hurting Austin, and he didn't have a right to push him down on his head like that. And I knew that I needed to call the police. I called the Conroe Police Department, and when they showed up, they pretty much said to call them when he came back, or they just kind of took the report because he fled from the police. And he kept coming back, and I kept calling, and he kept fleeing, and it was just an ongoing cycle of him abusing me in my apartment. It was very scary, where I was on the phone with 911 telling them that he was at the door saying that I needed a police officer right away. He was going so far as to run every single time and hiding in the woods, hiding behind my home where the police was going into the woods, but they did not really look for him. They were only out there for a few minutes and was like, just call us when he comes back, and he continued to flee. I tried to see if Austin would go to counseling. I notified family, peers, everybody what was going on. I even called the Justice of Peace, and Austin was not willing to stop abusing me. I started bleeding inside of my home. After I missed my period, my nails were destroyed, where I was bleeding from my nail beds. And my son had been assaulted several times, where he was thrown off of a chair and hit his forehead in the living room. He was pushed on his head in the kitchen. He was being punched in his back. And I was like, no, I cannot allow him to abuse my child. I shot Austin in the leg September 18, 2018, trying to protect my little boy from Austin, after he ran me out of my apartment, attacking me, and he had been assaulting me inside of my home after I asked him to leave. He started choking me and snatched up my son. I had to get a .380 handgun and fend my way out of the home with the gun still in my purse. I never pulled the gun on him. I ran down the street and started flagging down white people in the road. They were calling 911, and then I got to a restaurant with my son, asking them to dial 911, and he came in attacking me and started being violent with my child, and we struggled with him, and that's how the shooting happened. And they took my son and told me that they were raping him. The KKK, with Cynthia Olvera and Austin John Metter, and the father, Joseph Olvera, Cynthia's husband. So I want to tell you guys a couple of stories about what they did to African American boys in history here in America before I go into the history of women in the KKK. Here is a story about Emmett Till. He was 14 years old and beaten to the point where he was disfigured and his eyes were dislodged. He was said to have been fatally shot and tied to a fan thrown in the Tallahatchie River by white men for allegedly flirting with a white woman. There was another man named Edward Aaron, who they said was castrated and beaten he was castrated with a razor and left to die in a creek. Another male named Michael Donald was tied with a rope, strangled with a rope, and they slit his throat. And then they say Jason Smith was found in a lake and his organs were missing, but they said that it was an accidental drowning. September 18, 2018 was the day of the shooting. Austin Metter had been released from prison July 10th, 2018. So the shooting happened between 8 to 10 weeks after he was released from prison, and he was fleeing to his mother's home most of the time and hiding at her residence. Cynthia Olvera was asking the Conroe police to try to find a reason to arrest me and to not arrest her son, and then told me that she was in a gang while they were lying about evidence in October 2018 and December 2018, and in January 2019 told me that she had been raping my child, saying that she was in the Illuminati, which is a gang. It's a racist white gang. The first thing that Cynthia Olvera told me was that I gave my soul to Satan and we're raping him. That's the first thing that came out of her mouth. They just had a black male roll past with a cigarette in his mouth. They do have black men that are serving them, and I am with child with the same baby that they tortured in me from the jail. And it's alive, and I have a lawsuit. And for some reason, they keep trying to have black men and other males try to come around with cigarettes. I think it's to try to either have the baby killed or to discredit me. So first of all, it says Women of the Klan by Kathleen M. Blee, paperback. So this is just going to be an introduction to show you guys that they do have white women coming around me with their babies that are doing Klan operations. And just because they have children with them does not mean that they are not doing KKK operations. First of all, I want to show you that women were not allowed into the KKK group sessions at one point in American history. These white women had to fight for their right to be a KKK member. They wanted this so bad to where they actually did feminist movements to get the white males to allow them to be KKK members. This was so prevalent in white society due to the fact that a lot of them were raised as KKK members. Cynthia told me that she joined the organization, that she gave her soul to Satan. I don't know exactly when she did it, but I believe that she was an adult. But a lot of these women are indoctrinated into this KKK movement and this organization from birth. A lot of the women who you see in the courtroom are KKK members who are white. Teachers, they work in all sorts of facilities. They may be nurses, doctors, they might work in a clothing store or a coffee shop, but due to the color of their skin, is where the underlying fact of the KKK membership is involved, where you, I believe, have to be white in order for them to actually accept you fully into the organization. I have seen them indoctrinating young teenage girls, as you see babies, but young teenage girls to be in this organization. A lot of times whites are persecuted for not doing what the KKK wants them to do. There has been threats to lives of white Americans who did not want to join in on the killing of African Americans, where there are several articles about white women or people who were black activists that were white actually being killed heinously by the Ku Klux Klan, the Ku Klux Klan. When Cynthia Olvera told me that she was raping my child, I was horrified. The first thing that came to mind was, what would possess you to rape a 2-year-old? And it was racism, and it was extreme racism, to the fact where I have to tell you the heinous things that she said that they were doing to my child. And this is why I showed you the articles of what they have been known to do to young black boys. She said, we're raping him, and she said so vividly that she was mutilating him. She said we're raping him and cutting his tongue out and cutting his eye out. She specifically said that they were cutting my baby's tongue and his eye, and she was telling me curse words. So some of the words I may not say exactly how she said it, but she was saying the curse word for a bottom. She was saying, I'll just try to say it. She was saying his ass. She was saying that she was saying I'm doing things to his ass. Very, I don't even know the word to describe it. It was horrible. I mean, I was so afraid for my child to be hearing this white woman saying that she was doing all of this to my baby. And the police gave Cynthia my baby. So Austin was shot in the leg, and the male that was helping us, he brought Austin outside. He drug him outside because he was trying to restrain him, and he put him in front of the restaurant, and the police told me to come out with my hands up, and they had guns drawn on me. But no, they told me to come out with the gun, but I put the gun in my purse, and me and my son came out with our hands up, and the Conroe police or somebody called Cynthia to the scene, and then Cynthia Olvera got my baby from the police. They picked him up and was laughing with my son in their arms. I was asking them why they were charging me, and then they gave her my baby at the scene. She put my son, that's a KKK member. She put my son in a car seat, because we both had car seats. And she put him in a car seat with her husband, Joseph Olvera, in the vehicle, and they drove off with my baby. And the police took me to the police department, falsified everything, and they kept trying to lie about everything at my court dates. And then she told me that they were raping my baby. A lot of you may wonder, how can a woman rape a child? Like, what organ does she have to rape him with? She was saying that she was letting them rape him, that she was letting the males in the KKK rape my baby boy. And she was saying that she was molesting him, putting her mouth and her tongue and his bottom. So y'all can imagine what kind of molestation that is. I don't want to go into it because that's a child. And then her husband, Joseph, who is Hispanic, he said Hispanic male, but he has the light skin. He was saying that he was doing the same thing that Cynthia was doing, to where you put your mouth on somebody's bottom, and then you make him give oral sex to people, and then after you put your mouth all on his bottom, then you allow KKK members to come and sodomize him. This is what she said that they were doing. My son Melbourne, Melborn, Halo, Halo, Meador, was only 2 years old when Cynthia Olvera told me that they were raping my child. And she was doing so much heavy witchcraft. And the first thing she let me know was that she gave her soul to Satan. She said, I'm going to hell. She wanted me to know. She wanted me to know that she was raping him, because it's not just that you just take a black woman's child and then rape him and then run off and then be like, well, we'll let her wonder what happened to him. No, she wanted me to know. They want you to know. They want you to feel punished for hurting this white person, that they come and tell you that we did this to your child because you did this. And then now I'm out here fighting the system to get her arrested. So they have police officers, firefighters, EMS drivers that are KKK members, and they hear that I'm telling that this is why I'm trying to get y'all to go arrest her, and they're KKK members. So they want to come through letting everybody know that she's telling information like Cynthia's going down. This is not something that I'm going to let up on, and she thinks she's going to have me killed instead of going to jail because it's the Ku Klux Klan and they feel that they're that powerful. So I'm going to run it back and see where I was and then let him get past with his fire truck, and we're going to pick off where we left off about Cynthia needing to be arrested. So they wanted me to know. They wanted me to know that they were raping him. That's all a part of the torture on the victim, myself, who shot this white male. They wanted to torture me as a victim by telling me that they did this to my child and feeling like I would be so vulnerable in the country that I would not be able to do anything about it. And as you can see, I'm steady crying out on social media and telling what she said that they were doing to my child. Now, I told you that it was a lot of wickedness involved, a lot of witchcraft. When she wanted me to know, I'm going to tell you how she said it. She said, we're raping him because you shot Austin. And I gave my soul to Satan. And I'm going to hell. And then had the nerve to tell me that she was afraid to go to hell, but telling me that all of these people were raping my baby. And she was showing me, I don't know how she was doing it, but she was showing me all of these white males piled up on top of my baby and police officers. She was showing me just all these white males butt naked, and they were passing my child around. He was 2 years old, or younger than that, because she got him 22 months old from the scene. And he was a toddler. And she was showing me his legs wide open, him bent over on his knees, having him bobbing his head, giving oral sex to Austin, and then having all these white males just piled on top of him, passing him around, tossing him from here to there. And I was like, wow, really, Cynthia? You doing that just because I'm in jail on charges for protecting myself from your son? You over there, you out there raping my baby? And then she said they were passing on the black men. Then she said they were passing on the black men. They had the black Freemasons saying that they were raping him too. So the black men that you think are supposed to come forward and be black activists, oh no, it's all smoke and mirrors in America. They are liars, and they were their slaves in their mind, and they said they was slave raping my baby. Like, go ahead and pass them to the black men now and let the black men run through them and rape them to death with the Hispanics. And they were telling me that they were giving him AIDS and herpes. And the black males were saying, we're giving him AIDS and we're giving him herpes all over his body. And we keeping them in a room because this is these white people's country. And we keeping them in a room where we are going to keep raping them with herpes all over his body and AIDS. And they said they was giving him worms in his belly and worms in his rectum, ejaculating in his mouth and ejaculating in his bottom. It was horrible, and said that we're going to chop his limbs up and then dispose of his body, and saying that they wouldn't even give me my baby's body. Oh, they had the white females on the Conroe police squad all for this. They was all doing it. All of the women that worked inside of the correctional facility, the white women and stuff. I was like, wow. And then once I did my research, I understood because they are KKK members. So they were all sitting over there talking about they were raping my baby with these white police, and because I was black and I shot a white male. That women that's on the Conroe police force was over there saying that they was engaging and showing me them engaging with raping my child with white males that are police because they're KKK. Austin was saying that he was going to hell. And Austin was screaming, saying, I'm going to hell because you shot me. And we made him like it. They said that they were making my son perform oral acts on them at 2 years old, and that they were messing with him sexually in his rectum and his bottom, to where they had him liking the sex. Austin was like, we made him love it. And then kill him. And I was so horrified. Like, what you mean you made my baby like giving you oral sex? What you mean you made my baby like somebody messing with his bottom? That is ill. You are sick. Y'all are sick. And then Austin was saying, you got to come to hell in order to get him back. That you got to die in order to get him back and go to hell. because he's in hell. We made him go to hell. They were putting devil horns, showing me them putting devil horns on my child and then making him give people oral sex with devil horns. And he said he's in hell now because we made him like having sex with all of the men in the Ku Klux Klan, and he's got to go to hell now. But God has been for my son. He's been causing me to stand up for him. So they were just being sick and disgusting with everything that was coming out of their mouths. Everybody knows what they are doing in the whole country. There is not a soul over here in America that does not know that Cynthia said that she was raping my baby with the KKK. Everybody knows, all the black people, and everybody is trying to cover it up except for me and God. That's it. And I don't know, some people it might be out of fear, some people it might be out of allegiance, but they said they were raping him. And then they went through Tracy Gilbert, family court judge, to have them sue me while I was in the jail after they told me that they were raping my child, and say that Austin is suing you for custody of your child. And then Cynthia told me when she told me they was raping him and showed me they was raping him, she was like, Austin's gonna hand him over to us. So she first said that she raped him. She was like, I raped him. This is Cynthia, what came out of her mouth. She said, I raped him, and Austin raped him, and Joseph raped him, and then Austin's gonna hand him over to the police department and let all the police rape him. Then the Conroe police and the correctional guards inside of the Montgomery County Jail, they were saying that they were going to bring my baby into the jail and rape him in the jail and let inmates rape him in the jail. There were racist KKK members, and they were saying they was just going to get rid of his body, and they told me. So they know that I know that they said that they was all raping my child. And I haven't seen Cynthia and Austin since the custody hearings, where I tried to get my child from them since I was released on the charges. And they have been doing everything they can to cover up that they said they was raping him, talking about I'll never see him again and I could never get him back, having everybody try to stage to have me in the position to make it look like Cynthia is the legal mother of my child, saying that I can never see him again. Then trying to have KKK members attack me pregnant with another baby and trying to lie and say I'm not pregnant, trying to set me up to be murdered. Judge Tracy Gilbert, a white male in Conroe, Texas, Montgomery County Courthouse, I believe it's 418th Court District, let them bring me into the courtroom pregnant and starved, and then was like, after they said they was raping them, all raping them. So I believe he definitely knew that they said that they were all raping them, and then was like, Austin can have your baby because you still in the jail. And they tried to murder me in the jail before my trial, and then they handed him over to Cynthia, and then had Cynthia sue me, and Austin staged it to make it look like she was suing the both of us for my son. And then I was still in the jail, and I got released on the charges, and he had set a court date for me to go against Cynthia and Austin in December 2019. I was released August 22nd, 2019, pregnant and starved with this baby that I'm still carrying in my body alive. So I went to the court date in December, and they were having everybody to stage for me to be outside, and then having all of the hospitals to say that I wasn't pregnant, continuing to have them starve me in the country and had them raping me while pregnant. And then they said that Cynthia could have my child permanently. And I tried to get a job, and they were sabotaging everything. They were having gang members, black males, black females, Hispanics, everybody helping to set me up in the country. So I came to Houston. I was still in Montgomery County, and they had everybody setting me up outside out there, even people that were my friends after I was released on the charges. And then they set me up in Houston. I came into Houston, January 2020. And they had everybody in Houston setting me up outside, trying to set me up to be murdered with the Ku Klux Klan, to where I started a YouTube channel October 2020, and I fled to Atlanta, Georgia, and they had everybody out there, including Shanara Collins, my sister, my stepsister, setting me up with all the gangs out there. They were hurting my pregnancy. They were forcing me to be raped from a shelter with a woman named Rochelle Frazier and Officer Graham. It seemed like everybody that knew, okay, the KKK doing this to Andrea and her kids. Let's just try everybody set her up so we can get her out the way. And it's their country, so they can rape that baby and get away with it. And then they can torture her pregnancy and kill her and get away with it because she shot a white male. This is how they doing us. And so they had my sister Larissa Jones involved in Atlanta, Georgia. They had my cousin Kiana Wiley involved in Chicago, Illinois. They had my grandmother involved. They had my sister Shakina Jones involved. They had Shanara Collins involved. They have everybody involved. A male named Marcus Eugene Mitchell, Lamarcus Sanders. These are black people. They are using black people very heavily to try to set me up. They have no remorse. They're calling themselves gang members, I guess, saying that they worshiping the white people in the country, and they already know that they done took my baby and said they was raping my baby, but they feel that it's their country. I had a visitation from Kris Jenner. I saw her in the spirit as they had me lying outside pregnant on a bus stop at a bench. And I was telling that I wanted Austin to go to prison for attacking me. And I'm still carrying the baby from the day he attacked me. They've been torturing me. They want to say the baby is dead, but it's still alive in me. They don't want to let me get medical care for the baby that I'm carrying. They're trying to continue to abuse us and starve me with the baby in me that's alive. It's kicking. The head is moving. Here are more KKK members that are coming past with sirens because I'm exposing that the baby is still alive from the jail. And they are relentlessly continuing to do this. The Houston Fire Department are KKK members, basically. It's no need to try to cover up for a woman that was saying that she was raping the baby because they all was saying they was doing it. So I don't know. He might not be alive. I was in Atlanta being set up pregnant and starved out there and being raped by gang members. They have black men raping me. And I came back to Houston, Texas, October 2021, pregnant and starved. And the baby was still alive in me. And they tried to set me up to be murdered the entire time out here in Texas from October 2021 all the way up until June 2022 with the baby still alive in my body. And they're still trying to do the same starvation tactics, the same rape tactics. They are still trying to have everyone cover up that the baby is alive in me. And they're trying to cover up that they said that they were raping my child. And they're still using the same excuse is to try to say that she don't have custody of her baby. Got the Conroe police saying she don't have custody of her baby. And they said they was raping him with her and the KKK. They're trying to say Tracy Gilbert is saying that we don't have to give him back, that the case is closed, which is a lie. They said they were raping him to death. And I feel that he's a KKK member and that he needs to be arrested. They're still trying to stage arrest on me. They're still trying to deny me medical care for the baby, and they're trying to torture me until the baby is dead. They're still trying to have males fight me, black, Hispanic, white. They're still trying to stage arrest to try to have police murder me. They're being very nasty, getting on my social media channel saying, you're not pregnant, you need medication. They're trying to say I'm a mental patient for telling that they said they were raping my child. And Cynthia said she was a witch. She said that she was a grand witch. They're doing it with the Masonic Brotherhood, the white Masons, the black Masons, all of these gangs. They're doing it with everybody in the country. They're doing operations with the news stations, trying to get the news stations not to run my story, trying to get celebrities not to speak up about it, and they're trying to call me a blood sacrifice. They're also calling my son a blood sacrifice. When she said that they were raping him, she was calling my son a blood sacrifice. She was calling me a blood sacrifice and saying that the entire country was going to worship Austin, that they were going to bow down and worship him for letting them rape my child. My phone is on 3%, so I'm going to need to go back into this Starbucks and plug up my phone and continue to make this video. It looks like some of the people that were inside taking up all of the chairs where I could charge my phone are actually gone, and I need to step inside. Hopefully they're not closed early so I can finish making the video. They got a black male trying to trail me inside of the store. They have the whole country trying to set me up for white women. And yeah, so they said they were raping him and giving him AIDS. And then they have them trying to set me up like a prostitute. They have them trying to set me up like a drug addict. They have them trying to pick me up and try to get me to go to locations and have sex with them. And I'm saying no. They're trying to get them to give me drugs. Okay, it says we adjusted our hours. It said uh, we've adjusted our hours of operation, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., drive through to 11 p.m. So basically, while they followed me outside and had the ambulances and fire trucks and everybody doing KKK stuff, they decided to try to hurry up and close the store doing KKK operations inside of the Starbucks. Like I told y'all, it was already, everybody was filled up. In there was basically KKK members, and they all came outside to surround me as I was making the video, and then had them close down the establishment because I was about to go back inside to finish the video, but I was gonna be able to plug up my phone. So they were trying to have me outside without being able to finish the rest of the video with my phone dead, with them swarming around trying to set me up to be murdered. And I had to walk down to a park that has plugs and plug my phone up. And I'm at this park down the street from the Starbucks, Post Oak Central Park. And I need to finish talking about what I needed to say, whatever else that I was saying in this video. Let me run it back and see where I stopped off at when my phone started dying. Okay, so I said that they have them trying to give me drugs, and I'm saying no. But the main thing before my phone started dying was that they said they will bow down and worship Austin in the country. They are so racist against black people. They are so racist to feel that they could rape a black person's child, that they all said that they were going to bow down and worship him. We're talking about grown 40-year-old men, 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 20-year-old women, talking about worshiping Austin for being shot by a black person and raping her child with them. And I don't feel afraid because of Jesus Christ, because the Lord was with me the entire time. And they were saying that they had denounced Jesus, which is why Cynthia had told me off rip that she was a Satanist, telling me that she gave her soul to Satan. And I don't want to go into too many details about that because that's actually biblical. And I'm trying to keep this on the level of the law to be able to get the murder charges filed on Cynthia, which is what God was saying. He was like, she knows that she cannot keep a boy from his mother. And that I'm going to have to file the murder charges on Cynthia. If she keeps saying that she's keeping my son from me, she's heinously having police say that she's not letting Andrea talk to her son. And she's not letting Andrea see her son. And this is why. And they are walking around and laughing and being cocky and trying to go on with America by saying that no, Cynthia and Austin, or Cynthia has a restraining order against Andrea. So she ran off with my baby, saying that she was a KKK member and a witch. Specifically told me that she was raping them, and just ran off with my child, and told me the organization that she was a part of, and that they would all be raping him, and they are all the people that I have to go through to get justice for my child, is all the people that she said she was raping them with. And they all have these high power jobs and positions to falsify evidence, to falsify basically the evidence that they're trying to falsify is the evidence about her raping them. They're trying to make it seem like she never said it. They're trying to make it seem like she never did anything to him. They're just saying that he's alive, but Andrea can't see him. And that's evil as hell, to try to do that. And they're trying to make me jump through hoops to try to say that I gotta have a job and that I'm not pregnant with the baby that is still alive in me, and then try to say that she gotta have her own apartment and car. They're just making up stuff to try to make it seem like she has custody of my child. And then they're sabotaging me because I actually tried to go the route that they are trying to say. And I went to work 2 jobs to get an apartment and to get transportation, and they had them doing KKK stuff to me. So I couldn't come into the courtroom with the evidence that I had all these things to try to see him. And then that's when God was like, you need to file the murder charges. God said that it would be murder charges that I would be filing on Cynthia O'Vera. He said that he told me to tell Shakina Jones, my sister here in Texas, he said if Cynthia keeps saying that she's keeping my son from me, then tell her that I will be filing murder charges. So they had my sister here, Shakina Jones, involved with the KKK. Through the Black Freemason Brotherhood, and Shakina, God said, was supposed to bond me out. Shakina did not bond me out after I shot him, and I was not guilty for protecting myself. And that's when they said that they were raping him. And if she would have bonded me out, then I would have been able to get my baby from them safely, and just have to just protect them, because, of course, they would have still been trying to do stuff to harm us as Black people about the shooting, about me shooting Austin. But God said that Shakina set him up to be killed because he was light-skinned. And I was saying I knew that when I first got pregnant with Melbourne, that my family was jealous because I was pregnant by a white male. And they were saying that he's being raped and ha 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 and laughing and everything when they had me in the jail. Well, they were saying they were setting me up to be killed. It wasn't really a laughing matter, but it was almost as if they were teasing me about the KKK raping my child. And Shakina had said she was bonding me out, but then she teamed up with Cynthia and Austin, my lawyer Inger Chandler, that's in the KKK, and with everybody, all the Black Freemasons, my cousin Kiana and my grandmother up north, saying that they knew that Cynthia was KKK, and they knew that Austin was KKK, and that they knew that they was raping him, and that they knew that they was going to murder me pregnant inside of the jail, and saying that they felt like I should be killed for shooting Austin. So Shakina was saying she was going to bond me out, and then she started lying about it. She said she had the money, that she already placed the bond, and the bond never processed, and then she stopped answering the phone. The next thing I heard from Shakina was when Cynthia said she was raping my baby, and Shakina said that she was trying to set me up to be killed with them. Um, I guess she felt that she needed to take up for a white male that was attacking me, and said that she was letting them rape my baby with Black men and kill my baby and me that's still alive. So they need everybody in the country to set me up to be murdered, to cover up how many people was involved with trying to set me up to be killed in the first place, while saying that they were raping my child. And they had Larissa, God said, and Larissa did too, that Larissa Jones, my older sister in Atlanta, Georgia, that she also set my son up to be killed. He said that she set him up to be killed. So this is why I went on ahead to just file the murder charges on Cynthia O'Vera. God said that Shakina set him up to be killed, my little sister here, and that Larissa set him up to be killed, Larissa Jones in Atlanta, Georgia, because he was light-skinned. And he said that there would be punishment on them for everything that Cynthia did to him. And then he said to Shakina that if Cynthia keeps saying that she's keeping my son from me, that I will be filing murder charges. And this was 6 months ago. And they have continued to torture my pregnancy and try to set me up to be murdered. So I got tired of it, and I went on ahead and did. The baby is still alive, I mean. And I went on ahead and did what the Lord had told me to do. And that was to go ahead and file a report. But they have the police trying not to actually charge Cynthia with anything. And then they're going to try to cover up the whereabouts of my child. And still try to continue to set me up, which is what you saw them do at the Starbucks when they hurried up and closed down the restaurant. And then they had everybody swarming around with the fire trucks and everything, because it was a lot of people that knew that she said that she was raping my baby, and they were involved. They were in on it, feeling like they wanted to be evil to me and my child for a white male. And then now nobody don't want repercussions. And God said that the lawsuit about my son, about them raping and killing my child, would be $70 million for that. and they were calling me a broke bum bitch and a dirty African when they said they were raping him. And then he said that my pregnancy was 173 million about that. And they said that I was a dirty bum and a broke bitch and a dirty African, and that they were killing a rat in my belly after starving me and calling my baby a rat, and they're still trying to kill it.